In today's video, we're going to be looking back of what has happened so far in this offseason for the New Orleans Saints. Now, even though, yes, we are getting a little bit closer to the end of this offseason and getting us closer and closer and closer to the start of football, which I am very excited for. Can't believe it's almost here, even though, yes, it's only the middle of July, but still, I can't wait for it. And also, it's big, though, for the Saints for this offseason because next week, I believe, like next Wednesday or something like that, is supposed to start training camps for the New Orleans Saints. So definitely, of course, I will keep my eye on that. Try to maybe do videos on that or whatever as well. But I kind of wanted to go over because this offseason has been so far crazy with unbelievable crazy stories and all this other stuff. And of course, the big crazy thing to top it all off was last week's big announcement of Alvin Kamara returning for this season, restructuring, of course, his contract. Restructuring, of course, his contract with the team, and of course, would be playing with the team. There is a couple of questions I do have, though, especially regarding next week with Alvin Kamara. So that's, of course, what we'll be going over here in today's video. Before we get into the video, you guys know, as always, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell for future videos here on the BrewCrew channel. And let's go ahead and get right into this video. Let's just go ahead and get right into it. Of course, like I said before, we are on the way to the start of the football season for both Saints and LSU, but mostly focusing on Saints in this one. It's been a crazy off season so far with a bunch of crazy things. You kind of actually have to go back to the beginning to mostly once the football season was done. Earlier, I believe this year or last year, we lost Demario Davis, we lost Alante Taylor. Both of them went on to sign for new teams. And then, of course, we also technically lost Cam Jordan, but no team got him up. So there was a long stretch of time of no Cam Jordan. So there was definitely sort of a shocker there. But really, everything sort of kicked off really with that, but also with the free agency signing. Now, of course, we signed, but it was just really the three big players that we signed. Yes, honorable mention, Noah Fant, tight end, definitely a big signing. But three of the big signings. The biggest signing by far probably is Travis Etienne or Travis Etienne, whatever you want to call him. Probably call him Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne, former, of course, with the Jacksonville Jaguars, coming off a really good season with the Jaguars. Honestly shocked me and shocked probably everybody else because we probably thought he could have probably played another couple seasons, but he ended up coming to the Saints. And honestly, I didn't even know this. He is a Louisiana native. Of course, he did not go to LSU. He actually went on to play with Clemson in college, where he actually still was teammates with Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville. But he is back home and looks to potentially be a big spark. But with him being signed, it did spark questions with Alvin Kamara because during this time, Alvin Kamara was still in sort of contract restructuring disputes or something like that. It was with the team and all that. And it was definitely an interesting look to see what was the future going to look like mostly for Alvin Kamara for this season, since we got a really good running back in Travis Etienne. But later on in free agency, we had the best guard, which was an instrumental help for our offensive line in Edwards. In Edwards, I honestly, for some reason now, have forgotten his name. David Edwards. I knew it was Edwards. I probably gotta cut that out a little bit, but David Edwards, of course. Both him and Travis Etienne actually ended up signing 4-year deals with the Saints, which were definitely big. The tight end that I said before, Noah Fant, signed a 2-year deal. And the other big name that we actually kind of got, I mean, not really big name, but kind of the big name because of what has happened with the team, was Kaden Elliss, the linebacker, actually coming back to New Orleans. He was initially with New Orleans for a few years, and then he actually went to Atlanta, played with them for a few seasons, and now he's back in New Orleans. He signed a 3-year deal with us. But it's big, though, with that because of us, of course, losing Demario Davis. So we'll have to see who's going to be that new big leading role on this defense. And mostly people are saying it could be Kaden Elliss, could be someone else to try to step up and be that leading figure on the defense for the Saints. Especially also with the news of Cam Jordan still kind of going around. No team was still kind of jawing at him or anything like that, and even the Saints, like, we kept hearing stuff from Mickey Loomis and I believe Kellen Moore a little bit as well, of trying to also bring back Cam Jordan in some way as well. So it was just a lot of contract dispute stuff and all that. So that, of course, was the biggest thing to start off this offseason was the free agency moves that we did And honestly enough, it was a win in the free agency moves. But of course, the biggest thing by far in the offseason was the draft. Now, honestly enough, I'm not going to go through the whole draft. I'm going to focus on one player that we drafted, and that was, of course, Jordan Tyson. Yes, of course, there is still questions about Jordan Tyson. Remember, he did battle through injuries, and I believe he battled a hamstring injury in his final year before being drafted in his final year at Arizona State. But he is still a really talented player, and of course, we saw that. And even though, yes, if he can try to stay healthy, him and Olave could definitely go on to be a really great duo in this next season. There's other really good players, in my opinion, that I think could have some really breakout performances this rookie season, especially in the wide receiver position. We got Bryce Lance, and of course, we also got Xavier Thomas. Xavier Thomas, of course, played at LSU. I'm pretty sure it's Xavier Thomas. Why am I forgetting these names? I'm so sorry. I should remember these names. Barian Brown. Why did I say Xavier Thomas? He was last draft. Or I don't think, or maybe he was this draft and he was someone else. But I don't know why I said Xavier Thomas. I was thinking LSU players, and Xavier Thomas came into my head. Mostly those two other wide receivers I am very interested in. Barian Brown, because of his speed, he can be really great in the return game. And then Bryce Lance could be that sneaky third slot receiver as a rookie, but we'll have to see. Don't know if he'll really get playing time, but honestly enough, he can probably eke in as a potential future target for Tyler Shough. I mean, even the growth of Tyler Shough has been amazing as well throughout this offseason. We've seen so many great training stuff from him. He's doing routes and throwing balls with Juwan Johnson, some Chris Olave, other receivers, and all that. So definitely enough, it's great. I mean, it's great. We kind of got us even with the quarterback room. We also signed Zach Wilson. Yes, he's probably not going to do much, but it was an interesting sighting, nonetheless. But of course, the growth so far of course, Tyler Shough, and then of course, there's also the questions throughout minicamp, mostly revolving around Alvin Kamara. Of course, during the mini camps and all that, not a lot of starters like even Chris Olave or Jordan Tyson or even some defensive players didn't really play a lot or do stuff a lot in the mini camps, and especially with Alvin Kamara, which was kind of giving some worry to a lot of fans, thinking that this was like the stage of Alvin Kamara or something like that. Alvin Kamara and the Saints kind of clashing or something like that. And it was pretty weird because we weren't being given solid answers or whatever the fans wanted to hear from Mickey Loomis or even Coach Moore on the status of the contract restructuring with Alvin Kamara. Lo and behold, we get, of course, that. But, of course, before that, we had the big news of course, Cam Jordan signing a one-year deal, potentially with one last ride, potentially signing his final contract with the Saints and potentially going on to play his final year with New Orleans. Definitely going to probably be emotional for that. Longtime player for the Saints, one of my favorite players that I've ever watching Saints games. So definitely going to be emotional for that. But it was definitely big because it was also big around the time because two absolute Saints legends, Terod Armstead and Mark Ingram, got inducted into the Saints Hall of Fame. Definitely worth for both of them, both legends in the sport of football for the New Orleans Saints. So definitely worth for both of those. And of course, it gave us a really funny moment between Cam Jordan and Mark Ingram of who Mark Ingram's favorite teammate was. And Cam Jordan was not having it if it was going to be Drew Brees, because that's always the main answer for a lot of Saints players that they played with Drew Brees, in my opinion. But anyway, of course, the biggest story really came last week with finally giving us the answer and finally giving us a resolution or whatever it is, or whatever the friggin' word I'm trying to think of Alvin Kamara finally is going to be coming back for the 2026 season, agreeing to restructure his contract and all that, and he will be staying with the team, and he will be coming back for this season. So him and Travis Etienne, I was about to say Devon Etienne because I'm more used to other, but Travis Etienne are going to be a pretty interesting duo. But of course, it does leave me the question, like I said before in the beginning of the video, how is his status going to be for training camps? Because of course we saw what happened in mini camps. training camps is probably going to be different. You'll probably definitely see more of him, and he'll probably definitely try to play more. So I'm honestly looking forward to seeing how next week looks with training camps. Not, of course, with almost all the players who are going to be a part of training camps, and if they're going to mostly, of course, two players that come to mind that I really want to look at, and looking forward to see how they perform and how they do in training camps is, of course, Jordan Tyson and Alvin Kamara. Now, yes, I'm saying that crazily because Alvin Kamara is a veteran, but of course, it's not crazy for Jordan Tyson because he's a rookie. But I'm saying that for Alvin Kamara because of how it was earlier in the offseason with the minicamp situation. So honestly enough, I'm just looking forward to that. And now, of course, that we saw that they freaking restructured Alvin Kamara's contract, they need to go ahead and sign Chris Olave. They need to extend Chris Olave. I don't care if it's for 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. You need to extend them. He has proven time and time again that he is worth to be the #1 receiver. I have been saying it. I said it all last season during his amazing season. And I do believe he could have a great season. Yes, I am worried of me saying this a lot. It's going to come back to haunt me and we're going to have a horrible season. But I don't fucking care at this point. I don't freaking care. I don't care. All I care about, you need to go ahead and extend this man's contract. Okay? You need to extend the contract. You did the stuff with Alvin Kamara. You brought back Cam Jordan. There should be no way that you cannot freaking resign and extend Chris Olave. I suggest you do that, please. But yeah, that of course, mostly all the big sort of stuff, really player-wise and all that with this offseason. Offseason, of course, still continuing, of course, especially next week with training camp, which I believe starts Wednesday next week, I believe. So definitely going to keep my eye on that and probably try my best to do videos on it. I don't know for sure. It depends on how next week goes. But yeah, so I think I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. If you guys made it all the way to this point in the video, thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell for future videos here on the BrewCrew channel. Like I said before, try to keep my eyes on the training camp stuff next week and try to keep you guys updated the best I can. So all that. I feel like I was going to say something else. I don't know why this always happens in my videos. I feel like I need to say something else, but I don't. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Do everything that I said before. Like, subscribe, notification bell for future videos. And as always, I hope you guys have an amazing, blessed day. And I'll see you guys in my next video.